video. So what y'all think about this whole this Trump situation, huh? People better really wake up, because when you can go after a man who got a lot of money, and it's a good thing he does have a lot of money because he can lawyer up, but eventually, you know, that it can start to fade. Like, I've never seen people. I really feel like the Democrats, they're definitely afraid of Trump, because everybody's going to vote for him. I voted for him last time, and I'm daggone sure going to vote for him now. And so what they want to do is make sure that he's not even running. So you get these lawsuits and say, "Oh, we got him now. Oh, let's get him." And people are so ignorant. I be hearing people like, "Yeah, he deserved it," and I'm like, "Let me get this straight. The economy is tanking. The dollar is crashing. The banks are going bankrupt. Gas prices are up there. People are losing their jobs left or right. And you really think that Biden is doing a really good job?" The minds of people, I'm just like, what I really want to say about ignorant people out there. You really think Kamala Harris? I mean, when you look at her, it's like she done went nuts. I think she got up in office and she saw something that was not supposed to be in her mind. She just went nuts. You see the demonic things that the Democrats have been doing. And if black folks knew, especially, I have to talk about black folks because I'm black. If you knew what Democrats did back then, they wanted slaves. They wasn't for the freedom of slavery. Are you crazy? And it's like you don't even know your history. And so now, what I've been seeing, especially with the Democrats, is that they've been using the blackness as a tool to get over, although they really don't want blackness in office. And honestly, to be very frank with you, they've been using blackness as if, like we're dumb. So they choose these little puppets to go up there and say the most craziest thing, like the judge when you asked her, "What is a woman?" I'm not a I'm not a you asked the judge, "What is a woman?" This is a black judge. And she said, "I'm not a biologist." I said, when in the heck did people become so stupid? I even see videos of people like, "What is a woman?" And here I am. I've been on this earth for 40 years, and you want me to change. You want me to change my mindset and the truth about what a woman is. I'm like, I wish somebody would come up on the streets and ask me, what is a woman? A woman is the opposite of a man. But if we want to go biblical standard, we got to understand where the name came from. Okay. Was it not Adam who named her woman? Because she came out of his what? His womb. When God put him to sleep, he took a rib, created a female figure, and Adam named her woman. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. So I don't understand. And we are the weaker vessels than men. And you act like you don't get it. See, me believing in this lie is denying God who created me, and I'm a woman. But let's go back to Trump. And what really gets me is some of y'all out here with these high degrees and can't even tell the truth. You can't even tell the truth. It ain't in you. So anyway, let's go back to Trump. Now remember I told y'all I had that dream. Let me charge my phone up. I had the dream. Okay. About to side swipe me and you still didn't get nowhere. These people out here nuts. Hold on, y'all. So let me tell y'all something too. I've been going through a lot of things in my job, right? And I'm just like, don't test me. Just don't, because y'all know, if y'all been following me, y'all know how hard I work and the late night hours that I work. And to some people, it's still not good enough. Oh yeah. So I've been really praying and asking God for clarity and for favor. And so let me go back anyway. So let me go back to talk about Trump. Now they say, well, he paid some woman some money. Really, y'all saw what they did to Bill Cosby, right? Bill Cosby is freaking 100 years old, man going blind, and they had all these women come out and do this um I'm talking about mockery. I mean, they were all doing the most. And I'm gonna say, I have to say, the one that basically put Bill Cosby up, I'm in question whether or not that's a woman or a man. It clearly, to me, it looks like a man. So, but one thing I have noticed, and I've been talking about this for how long? Bill Cosby is married, isn't he? Isn't he married? So why are all you women popping pills and laying in his bed back in the 60s and 70s? And why was this even brought up? It was to make an example out of him. And if you want to start smirking about Trump, like, now they got him now. I got news for you, boo. You ain't got the type of money Trump has. So when somebody comes up to you and accuse you, and you got a lawyer up, and you don't have no money, nobody's coming to your aid. Okay? So you need to be very afraid. You need to be shocked and awe. And even if you are on the other side and you don't believe in Democrats or whatever, you ought to be paying attention and writing your senators or your reps or whatever like that, because this is unfair justice. This is not justice. It's unfair. It's corrupt. It's corrupt. So they know he gonna run, and they like, you got a team of people that's looking for stuff to go against Trump. They're just looking for stuff. Do you know how much it costs to retain an attorney? Do you know how much it costs to retain attorneys? Now, you may say, well, this ain't got nothing to do with me. But remember, I want you all to pay attention to this. When Twitter shut Trump down, y'all laughed at it. And I'm like, no, you guys, this is not funny. What Twitter just did was they stopped the American people from hearing from Trump. And then guess what? Y'all got banned too. Didn't y'all? Y'all got banned. Y'all Twitter accounts got banned. Your Facebook accounts got banned. Your YouTube account. Even me, I got strikes, and I was like, "Well, I'll be daggone." Sorry, y'all. Daggone video going up. I walked up to Trump, and I was crying. I was in tears, but I wasn't just crying. I was mourning. I was mourning like somebody died. Okay, and I walked up to Trump, and excuse me, and I said, I looked at him, and he had that stern face. And I said, you did a good job. I said it so sincerely, like, you did such a good job. And I grabbed his hand and I said, you did really good. But I was sobbing. And I realized I wasn't just sobbing because of how I felt, because in real life I wouldn't feeling like that. I was waiting to, I voted for him, and I saw how they went ahead and they orchestrated what happened in DC. First of all, if y'all was looking at my old videos, I used to pass by that area to get to work, right? Number one, how is it that anybody can get close to these particular places? Where was the police officers? Where was the daggone military? Where was the so-called snipers? Like, how did they even get in there? Somebody told them to pull back. That's what happened. Somebody told them to pull back, and somebody orchestrated those things. Because even when we were like, oh, we're going to shut down early because we heard, I'm going through, and I'm like, there's no traffic. I noticed that Fox News kept showing the same media over and over again. And I'm like, this is a bunch of BS. This is a bunch of BS. It was the same thing when COVID hit. Oh gosh, we're all gonna die. Oh, look at what's going on. And I'm riding around and I'm like, I don't see no dead bodies in the streets. I don't. One thing I will honestly say, and y'all tell me if I'm lying or not. I haven't heard people coughing. I haven't heard people coughing. You walked in Walmart, it was still packed. You walked into Lowe's, it was still packed. They was doing this dumb stuff, 6 feet back. You step on this. Oh, you gotta wear hand sanitizer. I'm walking around with a mask. You're looking stupid. You're looking stupid. And now the truth has come out. Vaccine injuries are on the rise, and I wonder why. Wonder why. CDC has been looking into this with the heart failures and the heart attacks. Family members of mine are starting in numbers to have health issues. I wonder why. I wonder why. You know, nobody can say the thing. You couldn't even say the word vaccine on YouTube without them banning you or striking your video. But they did it to Trump, so you know they're going to do it to us. Jesus said they prosecuted me, so they'll prosecute you. Okay. Now you got this transformer in South Carolina, North Carolina. This is, I don't know where it was at. They decided to go into the schools and pop some folks and kill them, and yet nobody thinks, especially with the Democrats, you don't think that this is wrong. Your moral compass is gone. And if anybody who is a true believer vote for those type of things, you got to check your spirit. You got to check your spirit. You thought it has nothing to do with me until all of a sudden you got the letter in the mail. So all of a sudden, parents, you start going up in the schools and raving and screaming because they teaching your kids something that you did not authorize. You didn't authorize. So what do I think about this whole Trump thing? It's a setup. They don't want me to vote for him. They don't want you to vote for him. And some of y'all racist for real, for real. And I have to say that to some of you black folks, you Latino folks, and those of you who like to use the blackness for your gayness. I've already said it. Stop using my black skin as comparable to you being with the same sex. Stay in your own lane. I was born black. I was born with this skin color, okay? All right. People, stop. And Kanye West and a lot of the rap industry, you influenced that. You helped mold that. Because when Kanye West came out, who was it that he said Bush don't like? Who was it that he said Bush don't like black people? They treat gays like they treat gays like they treat black people. What? What? And now here we are. People are telling me you're not a woman. And what are you? I'm not a woman. What are you, sir? And they ready to go ham on you if you don't call them a woman. But see, some of y'all went along with the ride and was like, well, there's nothing wrong. My best friend and this. You went along with the ride until all of a sudden you realized your rights were being stripped. So what do I have to say about Trump? It's all a setup. Nowadays, so many people are on their iPhones. They're not paying attention. They already know your attention span is like a peanut. So you don't even care about going out there and marching and asking for justice. You really don't care. You just want to see, what's it going to be. You're not going to care until another country invade you, and then you realize how precious your freedoms are. If you don't know your history, it will repeat itself. It will repeat itself. And some people don't want to say nothing because if I say something, then, people are going to deem me as whatever. I don't care. I'm born in this world by myself and I'm going to leave out of this world by myself. I don't care. The truth is going to come up. It's going to pop up, come up. It's going to be right in front of you, even though you planted these lies. I know how it feels to be dragged in court. I know how it feels when I didn't have the money to represent myself and I was shaking in my boots, and all prayer and fasting was to God. I needed God to get me out of this. Trump is on a different level than the average American citizen, meaning he got some money, but eventually that money will run out. You gotta fight for freedom. This is the reason why this land is the way it is. But we got a bunch of gremlins that decided to get in office and corrupt the whole entire empire. You know, I could talk about Black Lives Matter because I'm getting tired of so many black folks, young black folks, children, women, husband, uncles and aunts, somebody's child getting popped in the street by another black person. If we looked up the statistics on the black and black crime right now, please, the white man ain't the issue. It's how your son, how your daughter got a hold of this trigger and just start spraying it and didn't even care. Then they go to jail like, yeah, I got props. You know what I think? I think those who are in jail, especially when you know they did it on camera, you see him pulling the trigger and he did it. Put him in the fields. Make him plant fruits and vegetables. Take him back to slavery days since you don't care too much for your freedom. But we also have to blame that too on the music industry. We got to blame that on 50 Cent, Puff Daddy, all of you Damon Dash and you big G's out there that was pushing this agenda to turn our children into thugs and jailbait. Thugs and jailbait. My god sister lived in Chicago and told me one of her good friends brother got shot, and he got shot 16 times, and the boy he didn't even live in that neighborhood. And when they found his body, it was underneath a car and one of his fingers was shot off. Did a white man do that? No, white man didn't do that. It was a black mob of men who ran up on him and shot him to his death. Okay, and unless we gonna talk about you, this is the real statistic, and I ain't even gotta look it up. Ask the average black person, walk up to any black person that you know. I'm talking black American. I'm not talking about black African just came over here fresh off the boat. Your mother and father was it because again, none of my I don't know any of my grandparents that were from Africa. I know I'm black, so I know my line come from Africa, so does everyone else. But as the average black American, do you know anybody who got shot or somebody close to you that one of your family members got shot and killed? Almost all of them would tell you yes. And then you got to ask you this question: was it from a white man? No, no. We gotta speak the truth. Some of the most hideous serial killers out here. And don't get me wrong, you had the Jeffrey Dahmer with all the bodies, but what about the dude? What about Pookie and them around the way with the gun with more bodies on that gun? And you can't seem to catch him. You can't seem to catch them. And then while the Democrats are in there saying we need to ban assault rifles, they only want to ban the ones that's registered. But what about the ones that are in the streets that been killing our folks? You know the average person that kills a black person, especially black that kill black, they get like a good 10, 15 years in jail. But let them go out there and start selling coke. Let them go out there and start selling coke. They get 200 years in jail because now you're messing with Uncle Sam's money. But if you pop one of your own, you probably do maybe 5, 10 years. And they don't think nothing wrong with that. I told you my sister's best friend. I had to speak at this baby's funeral. I didn't even meet the girl. So young, so beautiful. The baby had to be 19, 20, and she left a 3-year-old behind. So peep this. So she decides to hang out with her baby father. They were beefing already, but she decides to go with her thug baby father. And they go into a studio. He ended up getting into it with a bunch of guys because they upset about not doing some part. And as soon as he walked out, the guys walked out. As soon as he walked out, They lit the whole place up, shot him up, and shot and killed his baby mother. So this woman that's only maybe 2 years younger than me is burying her daughter. Ask me if they caught the killer. Ask me if they caught, and you know they weren't white. They were black men who shot that woman up. Ask me if they caught her. No, black on black. Black lives matter, right? Black lives matter, but you can't even deal with your own backyard. Oh, we're not even gonna go to my brother. You know, we buried my brother. I think it was he died on the 20th. Funeral was on the 30th, and his birthday was on the 31st. My brother was 19 years old when he got shot and killed. But Black Lives Matter though, right? The guy turned himself in that he I remember in court he turned around and said, "I'm sorry." And I already know he's out right now living his life. But you know what the Democrats do, especially when they want to get them votes? All of a sudden somebody gets popped and somebody gets killed, and the Democrats want to call Black Lives Matter, black people, we all need to come together and let's get these votes. You use the blackness, you use the struggle and the harshness of it, not telling the all truth though. You're not telling the truth. And a lot of people don't want to listen to it because you already biased into what you want anyway. You walk around with your Democrat signs. You don't care as long as it's not dealing with your house. But I'll tell you something. When I had that dream of Donald Trump, I was mourning. I was not. I was not crying, like I was mourning to my core, because this is going to change the course of America and the freedoms that we know. Is that when you have a group of people that want to bring the liberties and the justice that we have down and use it in a corrupt way, you're going to remember a day when you used to be able to come and go as you please, but you chose to vote for a lie. You're going to remember a day when, and this is another thing too that I said to Trump in the dream. I said, this is going to happen to presidents to come, meaning that the Democrats are going to make sure they block who comes in position. See, that's the awful thing about these positions, the president's position, is that when you get a point where those who control the puppet controls who's pope, and I don't care about no pope, who's president. And the reason why they didn't like this dude, this is how you know that this dude is legitimate and he's real, is because both parties tried to jump him. Both. I'm talking about Democrat and Republicans tried to jump him. I don't know if y'all remember way back when one of the Republicans said that he got death threats from his. You don't know. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, evil in high positions. You don't know what these people are doing. I don't know that they will stop at nothing, especially if you're in the way. But see, God, let me tell you something. If you can't go out and march, what you could do is you could pray. Because the God we serve, he'll start making folks have heart attacks out of nowhere. You get my drift? So it's all a setup. It's all a setup. I spoke to my friend. She like, whose tax dollars is paying for this mess? It's all a setup. And I really pray and hope that he comes out of this. But somebody is you gotta understand, they're really talking about locking him up in jail. I never want to be in a situation where I'm behind bars and I have a toilet right there like a dog. You gotta be that influenced to the point that you got a team of people that's going through paperwork and trying to come up with the lawsuits against you. Who's doing that? And Biden's not saying a daggone thing. He's the acting president right now. He could be like, man, fall down for that because we got a lot of issues. The Bible says that a house that is divided will not stand. It can't. Uh, so y'all beating that hard that you locked up. It's like you afraid of your enemy that you gotta wipe him out. But it's the same, we gonna I'm praying, I am praying. I'm praying for this country because y'all have no idea, especially you youngins out there that's skipping school. You have no idea. You don't know your history. You don't know at one point in time you weren't even allowed to read. Okay? Y'all don't even know cursive. So how in the world can you read your constitution? You have a right to bear arms. You know what bearing arms mean? When evil comes in that government and tries to overthrow our liberties, you have a right. You have a right to protect it. You have a right that if some other country invades this country, you're not going to just depend on the military. You going to suit up too and get in line and protect your household. You have a right to. We was infringed with mandates and people losing their jobs as soon as this dude got in office. And everybody was like, so what? God is going to do it. Some people don't even care. Like they got it stuck in their mind. Republicans are racist. They have it stuck in their mind. No, they're not. Republicans are not racist. The Democrats, on the other hand, are literally trying to, first of all, they're coming up against the family. There's a war against the family of God, and I'm meaning male, female, children. And they daggone sure ain't doing no favors, especially to our daughters. But if any good man out there wanted to run for president, the Democrats will make sure you're not going to get in there because they want things to go what they want. And it's sad because you notice that they literally sold out to this world order thing. At first, they called what's that guy name? When they took him off, when they banned him from YouTube because he knew too much. But then the truth is coming out. Everything he said was accurate. But then he got slammed with so many lawsuits and this, that, and the third that, they had to quiet. Even his own wife left him. All because he was trying to warn us about what's going on now. So what do I think? Them folks is threatened and scared of Trump. They are threatened and scared of Trump. And they know that as soon as them polls come up, everybody is going back to voting for Trump. Because I know I am. I'm not sitting up here saying that Trump is all whatever, but it's way better than the Democrats because what I see personally that the Democrats stand for, they go against marriage. And I've been talking about marriage and how important it is. They go against life. They like killing babies in the womb. They use the blackness of my skin color and try to use it as bait for everybody else. But yet you won't tackle on the issue of blacks that are getting killed by blacks way outnumber the whole a white man killing a black man. You won't tackle that. Baby didn't even graduate high school. Had the daggone school up there singing at his funeral. and they still didn't catch you. Like, we live in the day now where I'm driving down the highway and there's cameras everywhere. How is it that the FBI, you can sit up here and go over some documents about who Trump should have, would have, or did, I don't know, pay for some sex or whatever, but you can't seem to find all of these killers out here that have been popping our youth? You can't even find the underlying information. The way they shut the world down off of the whole COVID thing, and then came up with a nice booster for everybody, but y'all can't seem to come up with the cure cancer. You could have you lined all the way up, but none of y'all got together and said, let's come up with a cure, with the C, cure. You can't even mention cure. They don't ever want you to talk about cure. Because you cure something, that means you can't profit from it. You can't make no money from it. You cure cancer, that means everybody that you this drug right here is no use anymore. It's out of commission. I'm not even going to go with the farmers and what they're struggling with. Rules and regulations. You can't plant seed that came from God. You have to buy our seed and plant it and pay taxes on it. Greed. An organic apple will cost you $100, but a modified genetic one will cost you $1. Profit. The love of money is the root of all types of evil. When you want to dictate and control to the point the natural resources of of food, plants, herbs. Who did that? And who allowed that? They mad at Africa right now because Africa said we not all for that same sex mess over here. And in Africa also said, you're not going to come over here and take our resources and tell us we got to plant your seed. What do you think this is going to do to the farmers? They can't afford it. And Bill Gates over behind was over there. I'm trying to tell you, Bill Gates better know his day is coming. He over there trying to buy up some stuff. How much money do you need, Joe? I was listening to the story about King Hamid and he was married to Jezebel. So he was evil as all get up, and he was a king. Nothing new is under the sun. People that flourish, and you think, man, how was the wicked getting away with this? Oh no, they're not getting away with it. But their time is up. But as a people, we have to be smart. I want freedom. I want to be able to teach my daughter the godly way. I want to be able to come and go as I please and be able to vote for who I want to vote for, not for who you tell me I have to vote for. Because people in those places will put the same party to run against each other, but it's benefiting the same agenda. But when somebody come out the blue, like, oh nah, we standing for the American baby. We standing for God. You know, the Democrats removed the platform of God off. But you Christians out there say, so you are a Christian, right? Yeah. They just removed the platform of God. And how are you not upset about that? Well, they come up with an excuse, and I just be like, you know what? I could. They come up with an excuse. Then what's that other guy they locked up? He was a big influence too. He was a bit. It was an Andrew Tate. Now, when I first saw him, I was like, golly, this man is so whatever. But he was breaking down some truth later on. I was like, well, I'll be daggone it. He's breaking down truth. Next thing you know, he got locked up. If you don't, this is modern day slavery out here. If you don't step in line to what they want, It will pull the plug on you. So I think it's horrible. I think it's horrible. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn it. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees today. Turn this daggone air on. I think it's horrible what they're doing to Trump. And it's scary too because you better pay attention. If they can do that to him, they'll do it to you. You know how many men sitting in a jail cell with no representation and they've been sitting in there for years? I had a dream that there were men in jail down south. And a lot of these men that were in jail, they didn't have any representation. The lawyers, I saw two lawyers, and the lawyers, their paperwork was so stacked up high. And then I said, hey, all you gotta do is put in a petition. And then when I went to put in a petition, then the lawyers was like, hold on, we got it. And I'm like, no, I think you weren't gonna do this. God showed me that there's a lot of men and people who are in jail from things they didn't even do. They didn't even do. And so everywhere Trump walks, it's attorneys. Like he gotta have his whole crew or mafia, whatever you want to call it. It gotta be decked out with attorneys, his disciples, because I've never seen a president be sued so many times when he was the acting standing president. And you got to ask yourself this question. This is the smart question to ask. Why are y'all so threatened by him? That's what I look at. What's the big agenda here? Why are you coming at him so hard? And why are y'all throwing him under the bus? It has to be some truth that this man is doing that is messing up y'all corruptness. Want that? And you better pay attention. You better vote. Why? If you see everything that's going on right now and you voted for Democrat, congratulations, you got what you want. If you prices, now they talking about the dollar fell in the crash of the dollar and all this other stuff. We was flourishing when Trump was in office. I don't care what none of y'all say, because when Trump was in office, I got my house. My cousin got her house, low interest rate. I remember when Trump told them you better not raise that interest rate. People became entrepreneurs on 1 million. People was going out there starting their LLCs and making that money, and then when the economy, whatever, he was like, nah, take this bill back. I'm not writing nothing off. They want to get money here and there, but don't want to get no money to the American people. Then everybody got them Trump checks. Everything was good, right? Everybody was like, you know what, I really like it. And when people be like, I should have voted for Trump, I'd be like, oh, so you were the reason why we in this situation right now. Okay. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. The freedoms that we have right now and the freedoms that we're used to, if you don't get off your freaking couch and off that cell phone and start looking and seeing what's going on, you're going to miss the day when you were able to walk to the grocery store and freely pick up the things that you want. You're going to miss the day when you went home and you were comfortable in your home and to somebody snatched that away. You're going to miss the day. And you find yourself out there fighting a war that had nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with it. Let me tell you, Russia and Ukraine's beef don't have nothing to do with the U.S. But it seems like when I look at the media, the U.S. have been literally orchestrating, and when I want to say not orchestrating, but what's it called? Instigating. You got the what are those people called, the news anchors, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen today? It looks like Russia and the U.S. is mad. Oh, I wonder what the U.S. is going to do. And I'm like, if you don't shut your trap. Nobody wants to send their kids over to war to fight. Oh, what's happening? Well, President Biden said he's going to fly some Ukrainians out, especially with the LGBTQI, and he's going to send them over to the United States. What? We're not even going to talk about the daggone the back door of all the folks that's coming crossing over from Mexico. I've been said this a long time ago. We need to just take Mexico and make it a part of the United States. Point blank, point down, put our laws down and say this is not going to happen. This is what we're going to do. And people can be freely to go over there to travel, live down there. Y'all can come up here. We might as well do that. I don't see what's wrong with it unless you have a group of people that's threatened by another group of people because of their looks. But all I see with these anchors is they're instigating. Some of the stuff, oh, look what happened here. It looks like Ukraine bombed this area. Oh, and the soldiers are going through. And I'm like, shut up. When do in war people broadcast it to let the enemy know what's going on? And I didn't vote for Biden, but I didn't appreciate the media showing footage of him falling like that. What I don't understand is you block everything out. You get somebody to teleprompt what you want him to say, or when he's not saying because he can't speak. How come you couldn't edit that out? To see our president, not our president, well, to see the president of the United States fall, and that was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. It showed a sign of weakness. But the anchors, leave it to them to instigate because they're a part of this agenda. They're a part of this huge agenda. A part of this huge agenda. Part of the huge agenda. That's why I be looking at people up in office and I'll be trying to figure out how the heck some of them people was brought to be in office. Some of them people was back to be in office. Like them people, you like OC, what's her name? OC or whatever her name is. How the heck did she even get in office? How did she get in office? Anyway, let me go ahead and end this video. Pray for President Trump. Because what you see right now is going to be a reflection of American people when you're being falsely accused of stuff. When you're being falsely accused of things. And I really pray that President Trump will be able to get out of this. This is what 2024 is when we get a new gosh. If anybody can hear me, please don't vote for Democrat. And yes, look up and down that they know the most strongest candidate in a Republican would be Trump. Some of y'all hurting right now because y'all went out and got certain things that it was mandated, and now it's you feeling it. Just be very wise with your vote and write your senators. And if you can't do anything, pray for him because Lord knows, like the way things are going right now doesn't look too good. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day today.